Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here. We're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of November 9th, 2023. The current character challenge is Suicide Squad Deadshot. That's a 1 week repeat. The required characters for that are none at normal difficulty, which is great. And there's also only 9 fights each ladder at normal difficulty. That's the same as all Suicide Squad challenges. So, especially with the reset, you don't need any characters to get it. But after normal difficulty, Deathstroke, Lobo, and Superman are the required characters who are bronze, gold, and gold. If you're looking at the lowest tier, you can get each of them at. Mm-hmm. His passive is I Never Miss, which is all aiming minigames have a 50% bigger, quote, sweet spot to attain max damage, which will be up from 200% to 250% damage. And if a Suicide Squad member is fighting, there's a chance for an off-screen assist from Deadshot, which basically you see a little laser pointer on the character's chest, and then you get the unblockable special. Yeah. Right. So he's got 1,450 attack, 1,250 health, and was last available on the 12th of January, 2023.
Right. And you also get better prizes. It's like all Suicide Squad challenges. So you get a silver pack, a gear locker, and a gold pack instead of the usual bronze credits and then a silver pack. Mm-hmm. Really good high stats. Like you mentioned, the off-screen assist is basically an unblockable special.
But you know when it's coming up, so it's consistent.
Right. Yeah. There's a chance to stun on combo ender, which is very small. That's not stated in any of his sort of information. And his combo ender counts as 3 hits. So normal combos, the light combos, the tap combo is 2%, 2%, 2% of your damage. And then if you get the combo ender, you get 3%. So either your total is 6% damage or 9. If you compare that to heavy combo, which is 444, that means you get 12. So his is 2, 2, 2. And instead of just getting 3, if you get the combo ender, you get 3, 3, and 2. Mm-hmm. So you more than double the amount. And if you get the combo ender, it actually does more damage than the heavy combo, the swipe combo.
Yeah.
And you get double effect from gears like Razagul Scimitar or Gauntlets of Azrael or Overpowered Super that have a combo ender effect. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing, though. Because we're using him as the star of the team in the video that you're watching, that means he's a special specialist. And it means we're not taking advantage of his combo ender, which, let's face it, isn't going to be that consistent. But it's neat if you're going to play him like that. Mm-hmm. Additionally, because we're using him as our special specialist with Tantu and Master's Death Cart, Master's Death Cart shoves the opponent too far away. And after a bit of experience with this, we know that his tap combo misses after the first 1 or maybe even 2 hits. So you can't get the combo ender unless you're willing to let the opponent come at you after your initial tag in. Mm-hmm. Gives the Master's Death Cart effect of pitter patter, create a little bit of power.
Yeah.
All right, so after playing with him a bit more, one of the nice features of Deadshot is how short the refractory period is after doing a special. So refractory period meaning the time that you have to wait before you can trigger your next special. Mm-hmm. So you can quickly do 3 special ones against an opponent who has Astro Harness and power, right? That's the key, because if they have Astro Harness but they don't have power, you're going to be faster most of the time anyways than their basics.
Yeah.
But if let's say you've got Claw of Horus, you can do 3 quick specials. Claw of Horus is not 100%. It's like 75%. But then you get basically, a lot of the time, you'll basically have shattered Astro Harness. Mm-hmm. And then you can either decide after the first 3 to do a special 2. Or if you've got the team that we've got, which is with Rebirth Raven Hawkgirl, as soon as you've done the 3, Rebirth Raven tags in and you can steal the opponent's power. Because that's sort of the point, is that the opponent has that bar power, which is potentially leaving you vulnerable. Mm-hmm. Right. So one other point I should make too, because Deadshot has unblocked specials that really shove the opponent pretty far back. So if you don't knock them out, but you still have more power. So that might be a situation where, say, you're coming in and doing a special 1 because you want to shatter all their gears and it's a second tag in. If you block immediately after completing your special, it means that the opponent is a decent distance away. Do it again, they're even further. And they need to run towards you before engaging, with, some exceptions. Like Arkham Knight, the Arkham Knight has a ranged basic attack.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you can even keep them so far away that they can't do a special on you, because a lot of characters don't have a ranged special.
That's true.
So they will wait until they're closer to you.
Yeah.
I mean, the exceptions would be somebody like Batman or Wonder Woman, but a lot of characters are sort of close contact specials.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to point out one thing about that one thing in his passive, about all aiming minigames have a 50% bigger sweet spot to attain max damage, which will be up from 200% to 250 damage.
Yeah.
So the increased damage is good because it's reasonably easy to get 199%, which is a level below 250.
Yeah.
But I don't find the sweet spot that big. It's pretty small still. And because of the pacing of the slider, it's different. It's actually a little bit slower. Maybe that's actually supposed to be the advantage, but it goes slower. So I'm finding myself having trouble finding the right time.
Yeah, because the rhythm is unique.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So there we go. It's been more than 3 years of a consistent challenge cycle since May of 2020. So we can, with a pretty high degree of confidence, predict that next week will be Rebirth Jessica Cruz in the challenge.
Right. And we're still too busy playing with the characters that are coming in to try to fill in the 2 interruptions, which are John Stewart Green Lantern, Arkham Origins Spade. But we're getting close to John Stewart Green Lantern, I think, which is going to be early in the new year.
Yeah, so there we go. And there are 23 challenge characters, which unfortunately aren't actually available anymore in the rotation.
But we've been doing one of them, Hawkgirl, almost every week. We've done Superman, Injustice 2 Superman, a few weeks ago in September, so maybe we'll get through some of those missing ones in our multiplayer highlights.
This week's multiplayer reward is Gingo Fruit, which becomes the Gingold soda, and when it's maxed out, it gives you a 30% damage reduction from basic attacks. Blocking will stop 22% more damage. You'll get a 35% damage reduction from crit attacks, and its evolved ability, which is a 20% chance to take no damage from basic attacks. And this one has been just under sort of 3 years now of a consistent pattern, and next week should be Necron's Scythe, which starts out as the Black Power Battery.
Right. So this is a great piece of defensive equipment.
Yeah, it's really exceptional. It's both, they're all related to the exact same thing, and all of the abilities are significant enough that you can feel the difference by putting them on. Like, they make a noticeable difference in how the game plays out. Right.
I would say that this and Astro Harness, I mean, I don't know if it's as good as Astro Harness, because there's something about the 3 invulnerabilities that's actually pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
But when you use this gear on the right character with the right combination of gears, you could actually avoid taking any basic damage at all. Mm-hmm. And we've demonstrated it on Regime Nightwing. That's the silver one. And he is in that video, which is on our channel page when you land on it.
Yeah.
And I'll link that in the description. So, with Gingold Soda, which is basic damage reduction by 30%, Killer Croc Companion Gear, which reduces basic damage by 20%, and Regime Nightwing's passive that reduces basic damage in half, he takes 0 damage. In fact, on this loadout, the evolved ability of 20% chance to take no damage from basics doesn't even come into play, because 50, 30, 20, you're already getting 0 damage. So even if it hits, nothing happens. So the fact that 20% of the time it doesn't hit.
80% of the time it does 0 damage and hits, and 20% of the time it does 0 damage and doesn't hit.
Right. I mean, it's almost, I was joking around last time, and I want to say it again. It's like, it's too bad it isn't like extreme couponing, where I've seen those TV shows in the States where you can use enough coupons that not only do you not pay for what you're buying, but you get money back.
Yeah,
they owe you.
You get like a 20% like health back.
Right. So the beauty on Regime Nightwing is you still have 1 gear slot free to use however you want. And Razzle Glow Scimitar is really good because it keeps draining power, and so does his special one, so that he's got a really good chance to not be vulnerable to a special. Teammates can stay safe building up power while Nightwing tanks it. Or you could stick on your 3rd gear slot, use damage over time gears, which take a percentage of the opponent's health, no matter how high their health is, so then he can really punch above his weight class.
Yeah.
Now, we've used it with Arkham Knight Batman to make him invulnerable, but in his case, it required New 52 Shazam as a teammate to give the extra 25% damage reduction, because he couldn't quite get to 0 without Nightwing's passive.
Yeah. And I think, you kind of glossed over it, but it really is that power drain special one that makes Nightwing sort of the perfect combination.
Yeah.
Because not only do you not take basic damage, but you can remove the opponent's ability to do anything but basic damage.
Right.
Which is the whole, thing that makes it so great. Whereas with other characters, eventually you're still getting hit by specials unless you're doing something to handle it.
Right. So the one place where we've done more than a few fights with Gingold Soda is in our original Justice League team on New 52 Superman, also linked in the description. So like Arkham Knight Batman, it takes a third gear slot to reduce him to 0 basic damage. And a good example would be Batman Ninja Helmet, which we used a couple times. For every 5% available power, damage received is reduced by 2.3%. So 3 bars of power can reduce damage by 46%. And New 52 Superman's passive reduces damage by 30% if he's got 2 Justice League teammates.
Yeah.
So 20% from Gingo Soda, 30% from Killer Croc Companion Gear, 30% from his passive. So you need another 20%, which you can get from 1.5 bars of power if you've got Batman Ninja Helmet. Mm-hmm. And the idea is kind of neat of making somebody a full tank, but normally we don't like that because you need to have some offensive potential. It's not enough that he's going to be sitting there and maybe potentially be the last man standing. That would be boring, like a fight where his teammates get knocked out and he's just a tank.
Yeah, but
they can't do damage.
The good news really is that we're just talking about things that you can theoretically get to 0%.
Right.
The difference between taking like 20% and 0% is not big enough for it to be worth, making them so much less effective as a fighter. So these are things you could do. But if you reduced 80% basic damage, you're already great. Right. You're fine.
But the point of New 52 Superman, though, is that his passive lets him do enough to boost his damage without any gears, which is why he works so well on a team with New 52 Wonder Woman, because she gives him power over and over, and she's the one that essentially charges up his passive to improve his offensive output.
You're offloading the power generation onto somebody else.
Right.
Yeah. So there we go. Moving on to the store, we've got the Rebirth Jessica Cruz pack for $24.99 Canadian. That's where we are, so that's the information that we have. So that's the information we give you.
It's the currency that matters, the only currency that matters.
Yeah. It's a corroborating clue. It's our second piece of evidence that next week is going to be the Rebirth Jessica Cruz challenge. So it is one of the packs that's $24.99 and also doesn't come with any power credit. So it's the terrible, terrible deal.
It's like the worst deal.
Yeah. So definitely don't buy it.
Right. And we have a third corroborating clue actually this week.
Yeah.
There's a Rebirth Jessica Cruz challenge pack.
Which is a little goofy. So that's 200,000 credits.
Right.
And that gives you a 6.16% chance of getting Rebirth Jessica Cruz instead of the regular 2.86% chance that you have in the regular challenge pack.
So is it telling us that 10,000 power credits is worth a little bit over $10? It's like $12?
I don't know.
That's the equivalent, right? Like basically, because all you're getting is Rebirth Jessica Cruz in the $24.99 pack. Now you get some cards and stuff, but you don't get any credits. Yeah. So you could get the challenge pack for $200. So maybe you're paying that. Maybe it's only $10,000 to $1 because that extra $5 you're paying is for the gear cards and stuff.
I don't even know the math that you're doing. I think I'm not following you at all.
But the math is that you get a 6.16% chance of getting her.
Yeah.
You a little bit more than double compared to the regular 2.86%.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a great deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got a second week of the Blackest Night pack, which we talked about in a lot more detail last week.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of packs. I mean, when we're over 2 years, I think it's basically as permanent as permanent packs go.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Phantom Zone is finished.
Yeah.
Fight 62 is still broken.
Last weekend's breakthrough was Catwoman, Deathstroke, and Raven. This coming weekend's is probably Cyborg, Batgirl, and Black Adam. Link in the description to a Reddit thread from Devlin16 with a complete breakthrough cycle if you want to check that out and track that for yourself. Although we already do all the hard work for you, so you can just tune in here.
It's true.
I guess it's a little bit faster than watching the video, maybe.
Right.
And as far as the current glitches go, this is not the first week of the month, so we're not doing the more in-depth description. We would update you here if anything has changed, but nothing has. So you can check out the video on the 2nd of November. Our recap last week if you want to see sort of our complete discussion. But all we'll say is that the challenge reset has been tested and confirmed to be working on the current Suicide Squad Deadshot challenge. And we always sort of mentioned the Phantom Zone reset at the same time because resetting your progress on one does both. So even though Phantom Zone isn't around right now, there should always be, if not your own voice, our voice in the back of your head saying, make sure you want to reset progress on both before you reset progress on either.
Right. And remember, too, every glitch, we have a video tutorial in our playlist, Current Working Glitches, linked in the description and in the eye in the top right corner of this video.
Yeah, so there we go. To finish up, we'd like to give a huge thank you to our patrons on Patreon. That's Michael Devries, Irvin, Ruiz, and Hoshi127 on the credited level and the name scrolling past who have supported us during the pandemic. Thank you so much for your support, and thanks so much to all of you for watching. We'll see you next time.
Komoda.